Hi, Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. This is critical analytics. We have a brief little discussion here, a little talk about what it means to be the high priest, what it means to be the God. So let's move right into it. We have this battle between Dr. Shabazz and Dr. Yaqub. Two visions, two distinct visions, right? And we liken it to a gear train, because that's what it is, a gear train, right? Because you have a master gear that turns all the other gears in a certain direction, right? But on the other side, you have another master gear that's trying to turn it in the opposite direction. See? So you have a clash between the two gears. See? And one has to prevail over the other, or otherwise the whole gear train will freeze up. See? So we have a clash of cultures, a clash of natures, a clash of visions. See? Because we have two master gears, the Christ and the Antichrist. That's what's going on now. We have the Christ and the Antichrist. I haven't really gotten to the mathematics about, to some extent I have, about what it means to be the Christ and Antichrist. Briefly, we were in a state of energy deprivation for the last 50,000 years. That period of energy deprivation, right, came to zero in 1948. In other words, we didn't have enough energy to maintain ourselves. That's what energy deprivation means. So we could not maintain civilization, we could not maintain anything. So that's why we lost civilization, we lost even control of ourselves, right? Okay. So in 1948, we was at zero. That means we had enough energy to maintain ourselves only. So it's at zero. See? Not positive, not negative. See? Just enough to maintain ourselves at zero. So at zero, right? Anything that comes into existence at zero produces a negative. So it's like, for instance, if you have no money and you borrow $10 from someone, you owe them $10. So you have $10 in hand, but you owe $10. If you borrow $100, you owe $100. So that means you have a negative and a positive. You owe this, but you owe it. So at zero in 1948, right, that was a 0 point where it was no longer energy deprivation. Right? We had enough energy to maintain ourselves, but we were at zero. Not positive, no, not negative. And negative means energy deprivation. Positive means we had more than enough energy to maintain ourselves. So we're just zero. So anyone that comes into existence at that point in time will create an anti. Because if you came in existence, that means you'd be a positive. That means it has to be a negative to balance you out. That's where the idea of Antichrist came from. That's the whole idea of Antichrist. Because at that time, right, that's the time, right, where Suleiman, the Christ, and the Antichrist will come in, be conceived at the exact same time. That will say a star will rise in the east. See, it's mathematics, brothers and sisters. See, so you had a negative. So he would have. So you know how much power the positive is, how much great the negative is. So if you borrow $1,000, your negative will be 1,000. If you borrow $1 million, your negative will be 1,000,000. So you can tell how powerful that the Christ is by how much how much negative he produced. So in other words, if you come into existence at that point in time, right, and say you're 100, right? Okay, so then you produce someone else that's a negative 100, or you might produce 4 people that's a negative 25, or you might produce 10 people that's a negative 10, or you might produce 2 people that's a negative 25, and 5 people that's a negative 10, right? But those people would be totally negative in your life. Now, you may never meet them, but whatever they do in life is always going to have a negative impact on whatever you're doing. You may meet them, you may never meet. You may meet some, you may meet none of them. But they have a negative. And so it says Antichrist will have a negative effect on everything that the Christ does. Everything Suleiman does, they have a counter negative to it. But see, the thing is, since the universe is increasing in energy, right? That means slowly, remember that it goes from zero. As long as it's zero, then the Antichrist can neutralize everything that he does. But once it goes to one, right? Then that means now. Okay, say the Christ at 10, right? So he got a negative 10, right? That's zero. But but energy comes to one, where he can have one now. He can one positive. Then the Antichrist, now he's 11, but the Antichrist goes to 9 because they're positive. The Christ is increasing. Antichrist is increasing because the energy, the shift is moving more positive. So if the shift moves to 10, right, Antichrist has no power anymore. See? Because now that's what the balance is 10. That's what the Suleiman has, right? Right? So therefore, there's no negative. So as time goes on, he gets more powerful, and the Antichrist gets weaker. See? Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. That's the mathematics behind the Antichrist. So we have two visions now. See? We have the Antichrist vision, right? That's over there in the east. It says that star rising east, right? And the Christ vision over here in the west. And two of those opposing visions. But the Christ vision is getting stronger every day, right? And the Antichrist vision is getting weaker every day. See? So, I made that clear, so we'll move on. We understand that. Okay. Now, you might want to read the story of Melchizedek, because that's what it tells you that Suleiman will be a high priest. Now, what's the difference between a high priest and a god? See, the high priest is the one that has the vision. The God is the one that has the power to enforce that vision. See? That's why they said prophets and messengers, they're all priests. That's why tribe of Levites, they're all priest tribe. See? They're supposed to carry the vision. See? Because they come to scripture. That's this vision. Right? And the God, he enforces it. See, he sends them in with the vision, that he enforces those who follow the vision or fail to follow the vision. See? So it says David, he's the God. He was set on the throne. But it says his son Suleiman would be the high priest. He's set in the temple. See? Because one has the vision and one has the power and the force. See? Master Muhammad has the power and the force. He's getting ready to take out false Israel. See? Physically, Suleiman's taking them out spiritually. See? He's taking all these spiritual angels out. See? Okay, let's look at it this way. Okay. In the angel, false Israel is called the false prophet. See? Because false Israel is the priest. Gog and Magog are the gods. They got the power. See? But false Israel has the vision, because the whole world is going behind that vision of them being the seed of Abraham. You see what I'm saying? Because they're the one that's setting the vision. So everybody said, well, so the whole world's operating on that their vision is the correct vision. See? That they're the seed of Abraham. But who enforcing that vision? American Britain. Because American Britain wasn't around, that vision would just had no force, would just go away. See? So that's why Farah is going to take out the source of the vision, because that's the master gear, the counter master gear, the anti-master gear. That's forcing the world into the vision we see now. This particular vision we see the world's in right now came in 1948. This is not the vision the world was in before 1948. See, we got to pay attention to these things. Before 1948, those people was hated. They was burning them up in chimneys. That wasn't the world. The world, this whole world had a different vision before 1948. See? Whole different vision before 1948. But from 1948, the whole vision changed because now so they set up false Israel, and then they became the seed of Abraham, and then the whole world, the whole vision, right? Then the whole world started supporting them and so forth and so on, right? And the whole vision changed. That's where they was burning them up the day before, and now, now their shit is honey. See, that all changed in 1948. See. Because it says in 1948, right? Because that tells you a story. It says that when the Christ was born, right, the Antichrist, right, attacked him immediately. Because that's what happened. You got the when you have the positive and negative, the negative always attack the positive. Because it's trying to bring it back to zero. The negative always attacking the positive, trying to take it back to zero. See, like your creditors, they're always trying to get their money back. You're trying to get the money, they're trying to get it back. To bring it back to zero. See? So they attacked him. That's all mathematics. They attacked him and they killed all the male children, right? Hoping to get to him. Because they knew the danger. We see it happened to two people. It happened to Elijah and also happened to Christ. See, when Moses came, they tried to do the same thing to him. Because he came with a vision. See? Not the vision, but a vision. See? It was like a precursor. See? So that's the case. So the God has the power and the force. The priest has the vision. So the angel is the vision, but the will is the power and force that backs, supports, and going to make sure that vision comes into existence. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's how it works. So you can read it's chapter 7 in Hebrews and read a host about Melchizedek. See, it tells you, and see, they don't talk about Melchizedek. See, here it tells you that the Levites, right? They were priests, priest tribe, but they didn't cut it. It's getting it's hitting the Farrakhan. Because remember, he was a Levite, and Aaron had the priesthood, but he blew it. See, because the priesthood was transferred to him in Elijah's absence, but he blew it. So it was transferred to Joshua, but that's the so you can read, it's Hebrews 7, to Melchizedek, and they don't talk about too much, but it tells you it's very clear. It says, who is this Melchizedek? See, it said, look here. Now consider how great this man was. It tells you he's a man. He said he had no beginning of life nor end of days. That means he's God. If he had no beginning or ending, right? See? Does it say that there? Anyway, it's in one of these pages. Okay. See, this is the only, and Abraham bowed to him. We know Abraham didn't bow to anybody but God. See, that shows we're immortal, and God is a man. It says it very clearly there. You don't have to go read anything. It tells very clearly, Melchizedek, he's the God, right? And it says he has no beginning of days or end of life. That means he's the God, but he's a man. They make it clear he's a man. So I don't want to belay this, bro. Since I just want to get you to understand the idea between a God and the priest, high priest. Now he's also referred to as a God because we all are gods. You understand? See. So he's in the realm of the gods, but the God is Master Farah Muhammad. So Suleiman is always referred to as a God, right? They say in the angel, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, and one is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, right? And when they mention the Most High in the angel, they talk about Suleiman because on the thing, he's the highest one in the key. See? But the God is the one sitting on the throne. So you got to be careful, angel, because you get things mixed up. Then you think, well, since he's the Most High, right? No, he's the high priest. But because Suleiman was the wisest man ever lived, but his father David is the God that sat on the throne. And sometimes it get people confused, like Habakkuk. You got the two. So you think, well, no, make don't get it twisted. Master Muhammad, he has the power and the force. He's the God. Suleiman has the vision. He broke the seal, said no one heavens or earth, none on earth could break it. He's the high priest. He has the vision. Master Farad Muhammad, David, right, will enforce. Will make sure it happens. That's where we travel through time with him. See, he's the time, right? He's the one that travels to create time, right? With the vision that the high priest has. See, it's like, you have the blueprint and you have the engineers. The guy lays the blueprint, right? He gets the vision, but it takes the engineers to build it. So that vision no good without the engineers. So you look at it that way. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? So, like I said, I've got it here. You can read it here, or you can go and find it. But it's Hebrews 7, right? So they don't talk that too much, but it's right there. It's right there in the Bible. So, you are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. I'm assuming priest forever. See. Okay, so we're going to talk about this for a minute. You see the gears there? That's the gears. See? Now, you have a master gear that's driving the whole train. It's not really showing it that clearly here, but a master gear, right? And so, like I said, we was at 0 in 1948. See? So now you had the two visions, because the vision we under right now didn't come into existence in 1948. Okay. False Israel, seed of Abraham, and the world we're living in now, right? The vision that we live is under that particular vision. See? The vision before that was a different vision. That vision, 1948, we live in the world under that particular vision. That's the last iteration of Dr. Yaqub's. That's his final vision. See? And it's the most powerful one. And you got Gog and Magog enforcing it. See? Whole world is rocking to that vision. Whole world is believing, is laboring under that vision. Under that vision, what? We're nothing. See? Because the vision is going against us. That vision is going against us. It's against our nature. See? See? And so they were at their strongest. And the only one can stop that vision, right, is the Christ. Because that's the vision of the Antichrist. The world is under the vision of the Antichrist right now. That's why Farad is going to take, Master Muhammad is going to take out, at the root, he's going to take out the master gear of this vision that we're living under. See? So you got Suleiman, he's the master gear of the positive vision. See? Remember, he started out at 0. See? So now he's moving slowly, and he's getting traction, right? In 1990, he broke the seals, and that was an explosion. Bam! See? And you got false seals trying to counter it, right? Because what they do, they go in there, they go invade the Middle East. See? The strength in their vision. See? Because remember, they counter everything Suleiman does. See? But they're ever weak and he's ever strong. So he ignited that vision. He ignited the angel explosion, bam, in 1990, right? And so now they got to spend time trying to counter that. And he's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. He's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But it's the battle between those two wills. See? And one has to break, or they're going to come to a stalemate. It's going to freeze up. Because it has to go one way or the other. See? Like you put your car in neutral, that means it's not going to go forward or backwards. See? You put it in drive, right? It's going in one direction. You put it in reverse, it's going another direction. So right now, the world's going in reverse from our standpoint. And Suleiman's trying to get it going drive. See? Elijah Muhammad is the one that put it in neutral. Remember, he was at 0 when Suleiman was conceived. That was his mission, to put it at 0. He would have told this beast and brought him to a standstill. He put it in 0. See? And then it's, passed the baton over to Suleiman. And then he got to take it into drive. Because when Master Muhammad came, it was in reverse. And he left Elijah Muhammad to put it into neutral. See? So Elijah Muhammad did get into neutral. See? But then Suleiman starts putting it in reverse and putting it into drive, and then all hell breaks loose. You see? So in 1975, right, they're really pushing against it, and then they get Farrakhan to, right, to go out and try to put it back in reverse again. Help them put it back in reverse again. That's what he's trying to do, trying to put it in reverse. See? He's working against us. He's trying to put it back in reverse. See? That's why I said Suleiman would take him out first. You have to go to war with the demons first. See? Because Elijah Muhammad put it in neutral, and he left it neutral, and the thing is, the Levites were supposed to keep it in neutral, hold it to neutral, until Suleiman came on scene. That's what hold it. They didn't. They failed. They let Farrakhan start rolling in reverse. See? But Suleiman was able to stop him. 1990, boom. For that explosion, and really start moving in drive. And it's picking up speed. See? It's going slow right now, but it's in drive. But it's moving forward. See? Slowly. See? But what happens is because we're slowing it down, right, is the false prophet, the Antichrist, he's the one that's slowing it down, right? False Israel, right? And all his minions, his demons, his devils, all his helpers. And Farrakhan's one of the main ones. See? But they get their power and strength from what? From him. That's why I said the son of perdition, he was after the works of Satan. Because they get their power and their strength from that one. They get their power and strength from the false prophet, from the Antichrist. Because he's the master gears moving them in that direction. So they get their force and power and direction, inspiration from him, the energy from him. Not energy, but they get the use of the energy. That direction, they getting it from him. Their drive, their force, right, and everything, they getting it from him. Because he's the one that's driving it in that direction. So they're getting all that power and everything from him. See? So that's why Master Muhammad takes him out, and all of a sudden, they have no driving force anymore. And that's why then, at that point, right, Suleiman takes off. Because they have the opposition, the master gear is broken. It's gone. So there's very little resistance. So he starts moving everything in his direction, crushing everything in the way, crushing, destroying anything that's in the way, because there's nothing to oppose him. Just the residual power that Antichrist left behind. But it had no force behind it, because he's the master that was providing the force. So they have some residual resistance, but there's no force behind it, because the master is taken out. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? I share a little more. There it is. The two master gears. One going in a positive direction, one going in a negative direction. They both see it at the same time, right? See? One going in one direction, one forcing the world in a different direction. One forcing one vision. Remember I talked about that cyborg, the result of it, and the biological, the two clashing. See? But the two gods, Gog and Magog, is the force, right? Behind, right? That gives, the force behind that vision. And Master Muhammad is the force behind Suleiman's vision. See? But the driving, right? See, that's the power, I should say that's the power behind it. But the driving force comes from the master gear. And they're giving it the power or the energy or whatever, the fuel. See? But when you take the master gear out, there's nothing driving anymore. See? So you just got the residual resistance, momentum they call it. See? But we have acceleration. Acceleration always destroys momentum. See? So then we start picking up fast because there's no master gear resistance anymore. It's just residual resistance, and we just crush it. I said this stone will crush anything in its path. That's why we'll move fast. Once Master Muhammad takes out the master gear, false Israel, the false prophet, see? And then once he's taken out, all his minions and everything, they fold up right behind him. America, Britain, Europe, they fall right behind him because they don't have the master gear to drive them anymore. They don't have master gear to drive them anymore. See? But us, we get stronger, and all the people that's with us, they get stronger and stronger and stronger because now we got the positive master gear that's driving them. That angel driving them, that's their vision. And we got a master from Muhammad providing the power. And so it don't take no 7 years or 7-year bullshit to my Farrakhan talking about 7-year tribulation. It's going to take long. Fold them up. Hope you understand, bro. So like I said, let's keep it short. There it is. So it's like slain from the foundation of earth. The Suleiman is literally carrying the whole world on his back. Because, as I explained to you, thought is what brings us. Thought is what moves the universe. Thought is what is fueling this vision. And so it takes thought to counter it. So right now, all the world is operating on Antichrist's vision. So he's got the momentum. See? Because the whole gear train isn't going this way. So Suleiman has to reverse that whole thing. All the pressure's against him. So you got to turn all that around. That means he got the whole world on his shoulder. See? Because he got to bring this new vision in against the current vision of the world that's coming from Antichrist. So in other words, he's got to go against the minds of the whole world because the whole world's operating on that vision. The whole world's operating on that vision. All this nuclear power and all this submarine, all this atomic, all that is under the control of Antichrist vision. The whole world's under control of Antichrist vision. That means the only one opposing it is Suleiman. That means all the weight is on him to convert that whole vision. The mind, remember, the control, to convert the whole mind of the world to positive vision. I'm saying, look like he was slaving the foundation of earth. Because he's literally carrying the whole world on his shoulder. Because the whole world's against them. The whole world's against us. And those of you that started to learn the angel, if you start to understand the whole world's against you, that means you got the whole world against you. You got billions of people against you. Billions of people's minds against you. People's hearts against you. And all these vibrations, all of them against you. No wonder how people's so messed up. Because they don't realize all the weight that's on them. I'm talking about vectors. The vectors, again, are so great that it turns them around in the direction of mass, and they don't even realize it's happened to them. Because the vibrations, like, you throw a rock in the pool, right? And those vibrations spread out. And from that, so the thing is, you walk around devils, right? And they, all these negative thoughts and all this negative vibration from the heart, you feeling all that. And it's like a tornado or a hurricane. If you spend a lot of time around them, and are you strong enough to withstand that? And the next thing you know, you're acting like them. Because your heart starts vibrating like theirs vibrating. Your thoughts start vibrating like their thoughts are vibrating. And you don't realize that they got control of your heart and your mind. You don't have to talk, just being around them. Because you feel in their brainwaves, you feel in their heart vibrations. You don't realize it, but you are. See? So once you start getting injured, right, then you start what? You start putting those positive vibrations out there. Positive mental thoughts. See? And your actions are going positive. So anytime somebody interact with you, right, they're going to get a positive vibe. That's going to affect them, affect what they do. If you go into a store and you talk to a lady at the counter or the man at the counter, right, and they say something, that affects you. If they say something that pleases you, that's going to affect you. Something that don't please you. Maybe you will drive down the street and you don't know that you've been affected by that interaction. So when you start applying learning the angel, and you start applying the 5 fundamentals of Islam, you're saying 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam. You start putting those that's canceling those negative vibrations out there. So you're putting positive vibration in the world. That means you're helping Suleiman turn the gear train in a positive direction. See? So you may not realize it, but you're affecting everybody. See? So you're countering theirs. See? So you're like an umbrella around your children and everything else around you, because they've been bothered with this, but you've been around them, so you can cancel some of that out. But you've been affected by it too. So if you start slipping up and start making up some odds and start slipping up and start eating 3 meals and all that kind of stuff, right? Because they turn your mind back to their thinking. They're turning your mind back to their thinking. They're whooping your mind because you weren't strong enough, right, to deal with it. You weren't strong enough to deal with all that vibration, the negative vibrations, negative thought patterns. You weren't strong enough to deal with it, so now it started turning you back in negative direction. See? But the more you study everything, you start getting more in a positive direction. Because really, brothers and sisters, you don't even know yourself yet. I don't really know myself yet. I know how much I don't know myself because I understand the angel. But once we get away from these people, you're going to be a whole. That's why I say be transformed in the twinkling of an eye, because you ain't even thinking like you put it like this here. If you're walking through a shitstorm, you got shit all over you, and you may not realize because you get used to the smell. But once you get out of there and take a bath, you see, hey, man, if you grew up in a shitstorm, you think that's normal. And you get used to the smell like homeless people. And so you think that's normal. Until somehow right, somebody take you out here and give you a bath. You say, damn, you got a whole different experience. You'll be changed in a twinkling of an eye. Your whole thought patterns are going to change. You're not going to think the way you think anymore. And you're going to look the way you look anymore. Because a lot of the ways you look right now is a reflection of the way you think. The way you think affects the way your appearance. You don't realize that, but it does. Like Elijah Muhammad said, our appearance will even change. He said, you be changed and twinkle of an eye. You'll be given a glorious body. Because the reason why because we're here with these people. Or so, well, I go to another country. No, they're still there. This whole world is under that vision. Once we break that vision, you're going to change in a twinkle of an eye. You're going to think differently. You're going to act differently. You're going to feel differently. In fact, you're going to feel so peaceful. You ain't going to drugs. You ain't think about. You're going to feel so great all the time. Because that's the way you're supposed to feel. When you're born, you're supposed to feel all your life. You're supposed to feel like you was in a state of bliss, blissful, peaceful, happy. Just like little baby, how he's happy all the time. You're supposed to maintain that. But see, so we over here, we all sad, hypertension, everything else because we deal with these people. They're affecting our minds and our hearts, and you can't get away from it. I I don't care how many slots and everything. That's why Matter from him had to get the hell out of here. He couldn't stay here. He stayed 3.5 years, and he just said, I gotta go. Because he couldn't stay but so long. You see. But once that's why I say be transformed in a twinkle of an eye. All of us. Because you're not thinking like what you're thinking is a positive. They're thinking mixed in with your thinking. It's like take water and mix it with dirt, some mud, so you think mud is that? No. Well, if you take the water from the dirt, all of a sudden you got something totally different. Right now you mix with the dirt, so you're mud. And you think that's the way you're supposed to be. See? But no, you're really water, you mixed in with dirt. Once you move the dirt, then you see water, and water is wholly totally different. It looks better, it's pure, and it's healthy. I mean, than dirt, than mud. Water's a whole lot different than mud, but right now we're mud people. That's what they call us, right? Because we mixed in with dirt, and so that's why we think we're supposed to be. Black folks think this. That's why I'm going to get a soul food. No, that's not black. They don't even know what black is. Black culture. They don't know what black culture is. You don't know what it is. You can read all history books you want to. You know what it is, because you're not yourself. You cannot be yourself here. You cannot. It's impossible. You don't know yourself. We're mud. Because we're affected by their heartbeats, their rhythms, their frequencies, their vibrations, their mental thoughts. We're affected by all of that. See? Some of us more than others. So we see these brothers and sisters were doing all kinds of stuff. I'm not talking about the demons, because they part of the problem. But some of my brothers and sisters right here, the way they acted, why? Because they were weaker, and their minds couldn't stand the pressure of the pressure of these negative vibrations. So now they start acting like the devils. You see, that's about the vector. I told you about vectors. See, but once we're out here, they will change and twinkle an eye. That's why you don't see me condemning them, brothers and sisters, because I know once we get out of here, right, they're gonna be something else. I ain't talking about these ones that turn into vipers. Hell with them. And demons definitely, because even if we get there, they still be, remember, they're the dirt. So we get to here after we separate, they still be the dirt. They ain't going to be water. They're the dirt that we mix with. And the vipers, nah, we ain't waste time with them either. But they should have been helping and said they was hurting. So they got to pay for that. Everything has a consequence. But other brothers and sisters out here that hasn't heard the truth, because if you hear it and you turn away from it, you're not going to get a second chance here. You better read the Bible carefully. They said, if you take and you hear the truth and you turn from it after Christ sacrificed his life for you, and then you turn away from it, and you can't get back, because he's not going to crucify him twice. You better read that carefully. See, you're going to get one shot at this one. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Right? Okay. So it's the priest and the God, high priest and the God. High priest carries the vision. Those are prophets and messengers. They got the scripture. That's the vision. The God has the power and force to make that vision happen. He's the time traveler. He's in front. He's doing it, but he's operating on that vision. Okay, brothers and sisters? Hope you understand. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, and to wrap up, if anything makes any sense to you, brothers and sisters, it's our contact information, right? Get into action. We're trying to get brothers and sisters. We're not trying, but we're getting brothers and sisters, right? That's waking up to help us to reach out to other brothers and sisters, because we're about to run into a big wall. He's going to be really intensely dark. We're going to need a lot of beacons. If you've been paying attention, there's going to be a lot of beacons, because it's going to be intensely dark in a minute, and they're coming after us, because now they realize, let me say this. These people know about 1619, 2019. The Jews knew it in and out because they birthed on it. Exodus. They claim that's the base of religion. They say that's the base of religion. Remember they studied Passover and all that kind of stuff? That's the base of religion. So they know it back and forth, though it never happened to them. There's no proof it ever happened. Even the Bible said, they said in the Bible, they disputed with Jesus. That never happened to us. But they know it backwards and forwards. Backwards and forwards. They can recite it by heart. So, and in here it tells you, it'd be the Abrahamic covenant, 400 years from 1619 to 2019, right? That's 40 years. In 2020 be a plague that would kill the firstborn, which is the elderly. That's exactly what happened. So they knew exactly what that meant. And they clued in their devil brothers and sisters. So everybody knew what that meant. That meant that they were the devils, they were oppressing us, and we were true to Abraham. Then it was clear. I mean, Elijah Muhammad came and talked about, right, the see Abraham, but it was still, they still could, play around with that. See? But when 2020 came in, 1619, 2020, they was hit with a real plague, a real one. It's killing all kinds of people. And it's really tearing them up over there in false Israel. They supposed to be Passover. I mean, they be selling praise all this time. Passover. And then when it really happened, they can't pass over. See, that's bullshit. See, they had to go. But they knew exactly what that was about. So if they didn't know what that is, they don't want you to know. They're going to tell you what that is, that you're true to Abraham. They got demons out there to make sure you never figure it out. They got Farrakhan, or they tell you, man, we ain't going nowhere. And we love being here. See, we're going to bring devils in our eye. They ain't not devils anymore and all that kind of stuff, right? So they know exactly what that meant. So you think about it. They say, uh-oh, we can't hide it anymore. Those two see Abraham over there. It's passing over them. They really getting the Passover, but it's destroying everybody else. It's taking out the demons that look like them, but for the most part, they're not affected. Look at Haiti, man, a poor country, yet they wasn't affected. Look at Africa virtually unaffected. And so they say, well, we was down like flies over here. They don't say that anymore, do they? See, I challenged them. I said, okay, show the numbers. They give percentages. See, but still, we the ones, because we don't take the vaccine. See, I said, ooh, gonna get this platform now. See, so they know exactly what that meant. So what do you think they would do? That God's coming for them. They're under attack. They're under attack by God for because of us. God's attacking them for our sake. Think about that. They're under attack. Their whole economy is under attack. Their civilization is under attack. Their people are being killed. They're at war with God. More people are being killed by this thing than in every war they've ever had. You understand? They realize they're at war with God right now. They ain't going to tell you that way. If you understand the Abrahamic covenant in 1619 and 2019, and 2020 complete to kill the firstborn, and it's coming from God, they're at war with God for our purpose, because we're the people of God. We're the soldiers. We're the people. We're God's children. Think about it. So what you think their response would be? They're going to counterattack. They're going to tell you they counterattack. And they're going to use the method that God's stacking them with as an excuse to eradicate us. So what are they doing right now? Are they trying to force anything on us? Why? It doesn't make any sense, does it? So why are they doing it? Think about it. And we're the primary folks of what they're doing. Do I have to tell you, I spell out for you what they're doing and how they're trying to do it and the purpose of it? The purpose is to eradicate us. It tells you in the Bible, so let's cut them off from being a nation so the name be remembered no more. Doesn't make it spell out for you, brothers and sisters. What would you do? See? So if you go again, the big thing about surprise. In other words, intelligence. Don't let the enemy know what you're doing. Surprise them. So in other words, they can't. The thing is, they got you here under control. They're not going to tell you what they eradicate you. They said, let's do it shrewdly in a way that they won't see it. They won't see it coming. How many ways that takes to wake you up, brothers and sisters? They said, deal with shrewdly. It's right in the scripture. So that way they won't see it coming. And now all of a sudden, this whole thing is about you. Why is it about you? All of a sudden, the whole thing's about you, but you're the one least affected. Can you put two and two together, what they're doing, what the purpose of it is? Because the point is, if that's the case, that means God's coming to eradicate them. Now, if your next door neighbor, right, is coming to eradicate you, and you got his children in your house, what the hell are you going to do? And you going to eradicate his children? He coming to eradicate you and your children, and your children over visiting him with you in your house. What you want to do? You want to eradicate his children. But think about it, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.